He's the tallest man on the radio, so sit right back and enjoy the show. Fly through the air like a ballistic missile. Here's your host, Ben Kissel.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Ben Kissel Politics. I am Ben Kissel. You can find me on Instagram at BenKissel1, joined by the birthday boy, Kyle Plouffe.
Oh, thank you.
You can find him at Kyle Plouffe. Shoot us an email, okbudpod@gmail.com. And if you want to watch every episode live and comment, go to patreon.com/diebud. We have a bunch of stuff to get to today. We're going to talk about ICE. They got some new vans.
But don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. ICE got new vans. Isn't that exciting? Well, they're not so happy because they said, we're going to be targets. People are going to egg our vans. They don't like us very much. I enjoyed operating in secret like the A-Team.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk about the corporations that are going to be making a shitload of money because of the detention centers popping up all over this country. But first, let's bring a little levity. Let's do a little levity.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about this guy, Eric Mays. Eric Mays, he was a city council member out of Flint, Michigan. He was arrested a couple of times. Okay.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't been arrested? But the one thing that he did was he fought the city council for the people of Flint when it came to the poisoned water. Everybody, including Barack Obama, was like, no, the water's fine in Flint. I'd swim in it. I love it.
All right, you first.
I rub it on my nipples every night. The reality is, the Flint water supply, it still is the reality. It's poisoned and it's killing people. Eric Mays was one of the only city council members to address that issue. I just recently saw a best of Eric Mays, and I have to say it's absolutely freaking hilarious. So let's bring a little bit of joy to this Friday episode.
They go low, I go lower.
Mr. Mays, you are out of order, okay, and I'm giving you your warning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Disorderly.
I'm sorry.
I rule you out of order, and I ask that you would be dismissed from this meeting.
Nope.
Councilman Mays, please refrain from your profanity.
Hell yeah. And he gonna say he ain't relevant because I'm talking about something that just relevantly happened.
Mediation, and there
You
were
told
people in rooms.
details
That's
of who
not
in what
confidential.
room and how many
But
and
I am
what.
going to finish saying this.
He get loud, I'm gonna get louder. When they go low, I go lower. I give her permission to go to the roof of City Hall and do a double flip belly flop.
Do I have the floor? Do I?
Yes,
Do
you
I?
do.
Thank you very much.
You can just sit your tail down in the seat, and you'll know what's going on in the meeting.
I ain't got no tail, girl.
No, that's Councilman Mays' mic.
No, it ain't.
Why is he still talking?
Because I got a mouth.
He's still
Why are
talking.
you still talking? Point of information. What is your point of information?
Point of order.
Point of order. No, I'm not playing on my phone. I'm taking care of business.
And also mimicking things like that. I mean, is that an order, Mr. President?
Be removed if he
No.
persists in calling.
Oh, I got a call to go to the mayor's office. This gonna stop. I don't care nothing about no rules.
All right, there it is, Eric Mays. He passed away in 2024. What an absolute legend.
Yeah.
He was a Republican until 1984, and then he became a Democrat, and he held office for quite a while. Apparently, he was relatively famous in the area for exactly that.
Well deserved.
Well deserved indeed. So that's why it's important. Pay attention to your local city council. That's where all the madness happens.
It's chaos.
It's pure chaos. There was a video I posted on my Instagram of a guy who went in and showed his butthole to everybody.
Oh,
Remember that?
You showed me that. Yeah.
Guy went into a city council meeting. He was wearing shorts. He walked up there, pulled his pants down, and showed his butthole.
He had a T-shirt that said "World's Smallest Cock," and he had a pinwheel hat on that he spun and then showed his asshole to everybody.
All right. Well, we have much more serious things to get to. I want to talk about what's going on with immigration, obviously. What ICE is doing, it's horrible. It's happening all over this country, and people, all freedom-loving people, are upset with what they are seeing. Of course, not everyone is upset when it comes to the detention centers that are popping up all over the country. There is a lot of money to be made in human suffering. And I want to talk quickly about the context, in the context of media. Media has been so unbelievably hyperbolic for so long that I think it's getting lost just how horrible this really is. Just the expansion of the federal government into our daily lives coming from the Trump administration. It is not supposed to be this way. It hasn't been this way since WW2, since the internment camps, which we said we would never go back to. I want to play a clip of the media reacting to Barack Obama in 2015 when Barack Obama used a selfie stick. Now, you would think they were talking about the warrantless drone strikes that he would operate constantly, or some of the atrocities that happened overseas, but no. This is the media, obviously this is right-wing media, talking as if their hair was on fire because Barack Obama used a selfie stick, and this is why, again, when they talk about something serious, I think it falls on deaf ears because we're so used to the screaming.
Yep.
President Obama appeared with a selfie stick. Critics called it undignified.
A lot of conservatives especially said this is not presidential, this is beneath the presidency. Why is he doing this? He's demeaning the office.
Quote, a foolproof way to make yourself look like a self-absorbed ass clown.
Whoa, Lou! Whoa, that was Lou Dobbs. Coming in hot.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know, it's said that Ronald Reagan wouldn't even take his jacket off in the Oval Office, but now we have a commander-in-chief that's doing jump shots and actually, a stick selfie. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Tonight's question of the day. What do you think of that selfie?
Yeah, that's your president. He's got a selfie stick.
One conservative tweeted, quote, "Remember when the office of the president had dignity?" And another wrote, quote, "This definitely is a new low for our juvenile president."
Here's the leader of the free world, the guy we trust with the button for the nukes, acting like a 12-year-old.
It is ridiculous. It is beneath the President of the United States, but I think he thinks he can do no wrong.
It is not only not befitting, but imagine what Reagan would have done in this situation.
You saw that he employed a selfie stick in the White House. That's befitting the office? I just don't have words for that clip.
Are we seeing a changing of the guard? Is the office not going to be as dignified as it used to be?
All right, so that is mainstream media, again, in that case, right-wing media, reacting to Barack Obama using a selfie stick.
Yeah.
I want to play some sound here of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I believe he's on a hot mic. Ooh, one of the sexiest of all mics.
Grab him by the mic.
Grab him by the mic, indeed. I'll change my name, whatever you want. He is speaking with a reporter, I believe it's another Fox News reporter, talking about North Korea. And he's speaking of Kim Jong-un as if Kim Jong-un is a leader that's a tough guy, a bold man, as opposed to a dumpy fat fuck who was given his powerful position by his grandfather and then his father. The guy is a cream puff. Can you imagine if Kim Jong-un was uncomfortable for one damn second in his life? The squeals that would come out of that cherub's face would be unbelievable. He is not a tough guy. He is the opposite of a tough guy. A tough guy or gal can deal with criticism and not send you and your family to the gulag for multiple generations. A tough person can stand up to criticism, hear criticism, maybe even agree with some, or articulate why they disagree with that said criticism. Not someone like Kim Jong-un, and obviously not someone like Donald Trump. This is why all of the media of the past has led us to where we are now, where people are so desensitized to drama that things like this, that Donald Trump, we're about to hear him say, get swept under the rug, aren't taken seriously, and they're just another blip in a news cycle that is only there to sell ads, that is only there to inflame and to anger without any context whatsoever. So however they can get you mad, they will. And when things are said that should actually make your hair rise up on your arms, that should actually make your brain say, "Ooh, maybe I should pay attention to that," it gets lost in the wash. It's the sock that never comes home. And it's a problem. And that is all by design. I want to play this clip of Donald Trump talking about Kim Jong-un and how he likes Kim Jong-un and how he would like us, the people that he represents, we're his boss, don't forget that, how he wants us to see him and treat him.
Are we close to seeing Mr. Kim here at the White House?
Could happen. I mean,
they talked about that yesterday.
I think it's something that could happen. Yeah. Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he is the strong head. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks, and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same.
Well.
All right, so he wants his people to do the same. When Kim Jong-un speaks, people sit up at attention, and Trump wants his people to do the same. Why do the people sit up for attention when Kim Jong-un speaks? It's not because what he says is so unbelievably prolific. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, this is a man who loves NBA basketball to the point that he flew out Dennis Rodman so Dennis Rodman could get hammered and play a fake game of basketball with a bunch of NBA wash-up stars. Kim Jong-un is not a genius. He is not someone who is pontificating about the most important things that humanity has ever had to deal with. He is a fat, cheese-loving, whiskey-sipping, gout-riddled fuckboy.
Oh, shit.
And now Donald Trump looks at him and says, "Nah, that's my kind of guy."
Didn't he call him Little Rocket Man? I was like making fun of him for the first
He used to call him Rocket Man, and then Kim Jong-un came out and said that Donald Trump was dotarded, which means old and stupid.
Yeah.
But he always has respected the fact that people respect Kim Jong-un, but it's not respect, it's fear.
Yep.
And that level of fear is now coming home to roost. And we're seeing it with the ICE raids that are taking place all over this country. If you can't get people to respect you, if you can't get people to bow down because they don't find you to be the unbelievable genius that you profess to be, well, what's the way to get them on their knees? By force. And that's what we're seeing all over this country. Donald Trump's ratings of trustworthiness and honesty are extremely low. Right now, only 31% of people on a Economist/YouGov survey said that they view Donald Trump as honest and trustworthy. I would love to know who that 31% is. Honesty, this is the thing. When it comes to politics, we all know they're lying, right? Everybody lies.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I have a clip from Noam Chomsky after this conversation with ICE and the companies that are making money off of what ICE is doing with the detention centers. I want to play a clip from Noam regarding government trust. They sell an illusion. They don't sell the policy is, especially nowadays, barely discussed. People want to buy into a mythos. By nature, it's going to be a lie. And the fact that there are 31% of people that have bought in so much where they actually believe that the lie is true is insane. At the very least, admit that you like the lie. That's why you're following it.
Right.
Because the lie is, I mean, let's be honest. It's big, it's grand, it's great. It's a fun-ass lie to believe in. There's a reason that there's Trump merch stores everywhere. And there's a reason that his rallies look like they're a great fucking time.
Biggest rally ever.
Biggest rally ever. The guy sold out MSG multiple times and could do it tomorrow again.
Just not with Tony Hinchcliffe.
Well, yeah, he didn't really do a great job. Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian who made that joke about Puerto Rico being a bunch of trash. I was speaking with some people that know him when I was down in Austin, and apparently election night, he was sweating bullets.
Oh.
He was like, if Trump loses, they're going to blame me. He was like, they're going to fucking kill me.
Holy shit.
And if Trump would have lost, they may have.
That's the pressure.
I mean, it definitely helped that Harris's campaign brought out Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. So then they were like, yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe's an asshole, but did you see this performance? And then everyone's like, whatever.
And then Beyonce showed up. They thought she was going to perform in Houston, then she didn't. So Beyonce got booed out of the building.
And she got what, $10 million for it?
$10 million for 5 minutes. So crazy.
So the people that actually believe that he's honest or trustworthy, that this administration, or really any administration for that matter, is honest and trustworthy, it's a fascinatingly large number. That's millions and millions of people. You can just admit you like to believe the lie because that's the lie that's super fun for you to believe in. Lord of the Rings isn't real, but we all want to be Frodo. I would rather be Gandalf, I guess.
Yeah, Gandalf's cool.
Gandalf is cool.
He's a seasoned man.
And then I'm seasoned. I'm peppered, baby.
Yeah.
I'm peppered. I also kind of like the idea of being Samwise because, he's pretty chill.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to do like a bunch of stuff until he does. And then once he's done with that, again, he doesn't have to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Then they're all in bed tickling each other.
Right. And then they're all in bed doing really non-gay stuff. I love that deleted scene.
Yeah. Oh, was that deleted scene?
I don't think it was in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. I've never seen them, so I don't know.
Oh, they're good.
Makes me laugh.
They're good.
Yeah.
But Samwise is awesome because once it's all done, his responsibility is also over. And then he can just like go out to the local saloon and then drink the mead or whatever the hobbits drank.
Nice.
And then he can be like, do you remember when I did that? And it'll be like really fun for him.
Yeah.
But like Frodo's got to work his whole life.
Oh.
Because he's like the figurehead. Everyone knows who he is. So he's got responsibilities. But Samwise, he gets to chill.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, there was a tangent that I have no idea how to get back to politics from.
It's all, everyone's believing the big lie.
There you go. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. Isn't that nice?
That's sweet.
Not if I had the fucking ring. If I was I'd be doomed. I can't carry the ring and I can't carry your big fucking ass either.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're all hanging out with the orcs. Speaking of orcs, there we go. Let's talk about the companies that are going to get rich off of Donald Trump's ICE detention plans. The Trump administration secured $45 billion for the mass detention of immigrants. The first company that's going to be making bank is the Disaster Management Group. Their location is Jupiter, Florida, and their background is in emergency response. They had direct contracts with the United States government since 2020. They were making $50 million in direct contracts from, again, the United States government. Also, their chief executive officer, Nate Albers, he has a bunch of wealth. Last year, he bought a $30 million home in Jupiter Inlet Colony.
Wow.
So as he hangs out in a $30 million Florida home, which, dang, you can get a lot of stuff in Florida for $30 million. That is crazy.
Taxpayer funded, baby.
As he lives the high life, as he lives there with servants and probably many people who are now detained in these detention centers, they are selling the tents that they create that were supposed to be for emergency responses to the federal government. They use a program called Tent Logics. Tent Logics, again, is where the people are being held. The tent camps, they were also used for Afghan refugees in 2021. So they were supposed to be there, again, as a program that was going to aid people who needed help.
Yeah, they're going to rebuild homes and stuff, but now they're you can just see how they tried to pitch it to the government. They're technically this is a disaster and we could manage it.
Exactly. Yeah. So congratulations, the scumbags over at Disaster Management Group. You are now aiding and abetting one of the worst policies in American history. Another company that's doing great that have had direct contracts from the United States since 2020 is Acquisition Logistics. The Fort Bliss contract was part of a special program aimed at directing federal dollars to small businesses. It's passing nearly all the work at Fort Bliss onto subcontractors, including DMG. So basically, it's a typical company. It's acquisition. It is the acquisition company that acquires all the other companies that are then used to build the detention centers that we're seeing take place all over this, the scene built all over this place. Another company is Ricana Solutions. Isn't that exciting? Ricana Solutions. In 2024, they bought, the people who own Ricana Solutions bought a boat and a new beach house. And now they are in a bidding war for the new ICE detention centers. Another program is Gotham's. It's called Gotham's. And their background is in emergency response and COVID testing. Their location is Austin, Texas. The leader of this place, they just bought an $8.5 million mansion in Lake Travis. Isn't that exciting?
What a coincidence, all these guys.
And they have direct contracts with the United States since 2020, with the United States government since 2020, worth $1.65 billion.
Jeez.
Another group, as we've talked about before, is GO Group. Their background is prisons. They have a contract with the United States government also from 2020, and their contract is worth $6.4 billion fricking dollars. There's another company named Methodology. The value of that company isn't fully known, but they are behind the data collection that is being used when it comes to finding people that they want to detain from ICE. So these companies are making unbelievable profit as their CEOs are buying brand new houses in beautiful Austin, Texas, and Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah.
As people are suffering. The fact they can sleep at night is absolutely disgusting, which is why I have no problem with ICE being forced to have their logo on the side of the vans that they are using to hop out of so they can arrest people at Home Depot. This, to me, first of all, it's absolutely necessary. We're hearing countless stories of people who are being kidnapped by folks who are not members of ICE.
Right.
What's the worst thing than being detained by ICE? Be detained by somebody who is pretending to be ICE. Next thing you know, you're locked up in their basement. You're pissing into a bucket, and they're you got to steal their dog so they don't skin you alive.
Yeah, and nobody knows the difference. So if people in public are witnessing it, they still won't stop because they don't know. They don't want to get in trouble.
Absolutely. So it's very important that ICE does have vehicles that say who they are for public safety. You know they're doing something wrong when people who are members of the agency are super upset that they can no longer hide in plain sight. Agents are furious and they're scared for their lives. There's a new fleet. It's dark blue and it says the words ICE. They're plastered in giant yellow letters across the side. It's also along with the phrase, defend the homeland. So this should, technically, if this was a normal situation, you would be happy.
Yeah.
You got a new truck.
Right.
You get a new SUV. And look how fancy it is. It says ICE. But because you're doing something that is corrupting so many, or disrupting rather, so many communities, and because the institution that you're working for is so corrupt, all of a sudden you get a new van, a new SUV, and it says the word ICE on it, and you're like, shit, we're about to get fucking egged.
The irony of people who are cracking down on those who can't identify themselves to be upset that they're being identified now is just...
You can't make it up.
It's insane.
You can't make it up. So this is from an ICE insider. They say, obviously, we're going to need additional vehicles as we build out our workforce. As we talked about in the last episode, they are actively recruiting, and there's thousands of people in this country who do need work. I don't think that ICE is the best job, and I no one else is going to put food on your table.
Right.
So I don't even necessarily want to blame the people who are struggling to make ends meet, and they're like, oh, there's a job opportunity, but at the same time, God dang.
And you're getting 50 grand cash right off the bat.
Right. But at the same time, come on, you got to have a little bit of like, what am I doing? Is this money worth it? There's got to be a different job out there for you that you could succeed at.
Yep.
Try to become a firefighter. I mean, cops, if you're a cop, you're like, this is kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
Now you're no longer really the one you're not on the ultimate shit list.
Yeah.
You're not the worst person in the eyes of many Americans.
Yeah, you've just been surpassed for sure.
Right. You'd be like, well, at least I'm not ICE. And they're like, thank you, officer. I like what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you for the ticket. I love this. I love this speeding ticket. Thank you for not being a member of ICE and detaining me. So an ICE insider, they say, obviously, we're going to need additional vehicles as we build out our workforce. So there'll be some marked vehicles from here in D.C. and around the country. Agents, they say, this is just what they say there's going to be 1,000% increase in assaults. So they're very, very worried. One ICE source says it's like having a bullseye.
Well, yeah.
It's a logo.
It's just
Are you working at Target? Because then it's like having a bullseye. What are you doing wrong if you're so concerned that people are going to know who you are?
Yeah, all I can hear is Cartman being like, Mom, now I can't do my super cool secret stakeout.
I know. It's unreal that they are so pissed that they got a gift.
Mm-hmm.
You've been gifted a new vehicle, and like, I didn't want the one with our names on it.
Yeah.
Mom, I told you I wanted the starter jacket. What is this, Apex? Which I did get the Apex jacket.
I'm going to get beat up.
It was embarrassing. Yeah. Everyone got starter jackets. I got an Apex jacket.
Oh,
which was the Washington Redskins logo. Yeah, which might come back.
I got a 49ers starter jacket back in the day. My brother got the Packers.
Yo, cool. Your brother's cool.
Jacket, yeah.
Yeah. Neither of them are the Patriots, though.
I know, because they were so bad in the 90s.
Right.
Especially the early 90s.
So ICE, accept your gift. Be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
You've been given a new vehicle. According to one source, they say this will only raise officer-involved incidents in the streets because people will target the vehicles. A source says it's scary. Someone said it's very scary for ICE out there. One person said they're not going to let us do our jobs.
Yeah.
As of course, ICE shows up wearing masks and detaining people, many of whom are American citizens. I mean, according to DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, they say ICE is a law enforcement agency and, like all other law enforcement agencies, has a fleet of vehicles that includes those with ICE branding. Thanks to the one big beautiful bill, ICE finally has the resources to grow its workforce to support ICE's mission, and that will include all types of additional vehicles. So the government they're going to be sad. They're going to say, you didn't like your Christmas present, ICE, but we worked so hard on the big beautiful bill to get it to you.
I know.
Oh, gosh. It's really something. It's really something. And it's crazy that we're seeing it play out in real time and how much money is at stake and how much money is being made is really sickening. I want to play this clip of Noam Chomsky. When it comes to government trust, there's a lot of people. Obviously, this is an old clip, so it's not even about the government, or it's not even about the Trump administration. It's just about government as a whole, but it rings true today. I'm going to talk here briefly about the World Trade Center health program. Many people who are veterans, many people who are in law enforcement supported the Trump administration, and they thought he might be doing a lot of good for 9/11 responders. However, as we're going to hear here in a second, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, gutted the World Trade Center health program.
Wow.
But let's play Noam Chomsky. I just think it's a power. I don't agree with everything Noam says. His name is Noam, after all. But he is completely right when it comes to trusting the government. And he makes a fantastic point about never trusting, always holding them accountable. Well, we can listen to it.
In other words, is there a form of government which you believe is deserving of our trust?
When you ask, is there a form of government we can trust? No, by definition. There is no form of authority that ever ought to be trusted. You don't and that ought to be second nature. I mean, you don't trust authority. What you do is challenge authority. You ask authority to justify itself. Well, maybe sometimes it can justify itself. If so, okay. If it can't, dismantle it. But certainly don't trust it. You don't trust anybody but yourself.
So, and I barely trust myself.
Right.
But Noam Chomsky making a fantastic point, and for the people that thought that Donald Trump was going to honor the victims of 9/11 and the people who are still suffering because of the smoke inhalation, because of the PTSD. I mean, the gamut of stress that was put on the human body of all of the first responders. I mean, I can't even really fathom what they had to go through. You watch the footage and you're like, shit, at least the government's going to take care of these people, right? No, wrong. So on February 14th of this fine year, a day after Secretary Kennedy was confirmed by the Senate, the HHS fired thousands of probationary employees of the Department of Health and Human Services. This ended up causing the World Trade Center Health Program to lose over 20% of its staff from a program that only had 93 staff positions filled to one now with less than 73. This staff cut was just after the WTC Health Program planned to increase its staff to 138. So because of this, people have not been able to get the medication they need, have not been able to receive any funds whatsoever. The impact of these job cuts is going to be felt. Delays in decisions on certifications to allow treatment for new cancers, delays in the enrollment of new responders and survivors who have been diagnosed with cancer, delays in decision on the pending petitions, such as whether to include autoimmune cardiac conditions, dementia, and cognitive decline, and other conditions. They were supposed to be announced in March of this year. Those have now been pushed because Elon Musk and Doge thought that it was going to save the government billions of dollars to cut a program that is absolutely needed to help the people that did damn near the impossible on the worst day in this country's history. So in April 29th, the program has denied cancer care. On April 29th, New York area World Trade Center Health Program clinics reported that the World Trade Center Health Program had stopped approving treatment of new cases of cancer and has stopped enrolling new responders and survivors. That is now the status quo for the entire institution. Again, something that no one seemed to really talk about, something that is super important and something that affects many people who may have supported Donald Trump and the administration. It's so unbelievably callous and heartless to cut funding for people who are suffering because they're heroes. They didn't even think that they would be on the chopping block, and that's the dangers of authoritarianism. You never know when it's going to end, and you never know when you're next. It's like when your grandpa dies, then you're like, well, my dad's next, and after your dad dies, you know who's coming.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think by design at this point, they came out when Doge was first, starting their thing, and they were like, oh, we're cutting, condoms for Israel, and like all these like wacky sounding things that were like slashing $50 to $100 million, $300 million per project. And then this, without you telling me, I wouldn't even know that this happened because it's not making the front page of a lot of papers.
We also have a proclamation of Donald Trump. He signed something on the 90th anniversary of Social Security. He was talking about how some recent tax changes are going to be a relief for seniors. So we have the sound of Donald Trump signing a proclamation that marks the 90th anniversary of Social Security. And he is talking about how the tax cuts that he is giving is going to help people have Social Security for longer. However, the facts don't they don't read that out. The facts do not add up to what he is saying.
50th anniversary of one of the most significant pieces of legislation ever signed into law, the Social Security Act of 1935, and we're going to make it stronger, bigger, and better. We're doing a job. In the campaign, I made a sacred pledge to our seniors that I would always protect Social Security, and under this administration, we're keeping that promise and strengthening Social Security for generations to come. You keep hearing stories that in 6 years, 7 years, Social Security will be gone, and it will be if the Democrats ever get involved because they don't know what they're doing. But it's going to be around a long time with us. Almost 60 million American seniors rely on Social Security for peace of mind and a life of dignity and retirement. These Americans paid into the system, and they deserve leaders in Washington who are going to protect the benefits they've had and protect Social Security. Under Biden, Social Security went down like nobody's ever seen it, deteriorated. There's never been anything like it. The 4 years of Biden were very, very destructive. It couldn't have gone on much longer. Social Security was going to be destroyed. It was being destroyed. The average call wait time reached an all-time high of more than 42 minutes. Field office wait times were at 32 minutes, which is unheard of, and the disability claim backlog was the longest ever in recorded history. In other words, it was run just like the country was run. It was run really badly.
All right, there we go. So Donald Trump, every single thing that he just said, according to his own administration, is wrong. This comes from the Office of the Chief Actuary. Very exciting. This is a part of the Trump administration. They have said if you actually look at the analysis of what Donald Trump has done, it's going to speed up the insolvency of Social Security. So it's his own people that have said, well, I'm sorry, pal, that's not at all the truth. And he can make things sound good. He can make it sound like everything is going to be perfect and he's doing things that's going to help the people that voted for him. And in some ways, he might be helping them in the short term. There will be, I think it's a $6,000 tax credit that's going to be given to many people who are on Social Security. But in the long run, this is not going to help whatsoever. Donald Trump, the person that is his actuary, it's OACT.
OACT.
Isn't that exciting? OACT. So with the recent tax changes, the Office of the Chief Actuary of the Social Security Administration, they said that Social Security is going to be depleted and the trust funds will run out in the first quarter of 2034. So Donald Trump and his administration is saying that they are going to eliminate billions of dollars in fraud. However, none of that is being played out in real life whatsoever. This is according to Social Security Administration Commissioner Frank Zappa, who attended the event this past Thursday. He says this will be a digital-first agency, and we are building My SSA accounts. That's the digital account, and we have a bold goal of 200 million Americans to have a digital SSA account by the end of next year. He says it will happen just like we had a bold goal of a single-digit wait time on the calls when they were 40 minutes. He says you should expect this to be a great digital first agency. My commitment to make this is as deep as the president's commitment to make the world a great place. Then he says Social Security will be great again. The numbers, once again, however, do not show what they're saying to be true. So it sounds good talking about the lie that you want to believe. It sounds awesome that Social Security is going to be made great again. But what the fuck does that even mean?
I'm accounting over here.
It's great. These numbers are great again. People just need their checks. And don't forget, we have been paying into Social Security our entire life. And when you get to that certain age, if it's not there, that's going to be a rug pull that millions and millions and millions of Americans can't handle. They're going to fall right on their face, and many of them are going to end up dying because of it. So it's, on its face, again, the lie sounds fun, but then the facts are that it is going to fuck you over in the long term. Short-term politics, okay, maybe it's good. Maybe it's going to make Social Security great again. But once again, in the long term, and we're going to live a lot longer than you think, it's a complete and utter shit show. So, all right. I mean, do we have time to talk about gerrymandering? How long have we been going for?
We're at 41.
We're at 41? Yeah. Well, what do you want to do?
Whatever.
What do we got? Let's play. You know what? We got some clips. We can play
Zappa.
What's that?
Zappa.
Let's play Frank Zappa talking. Let's play Frank Zappa. This is kind of ties into redistricting a little bit. So let's play a little bit from Frank Zappa.
Dishonesty is the rule and honesty is the exception. When you have political leaders who do not demonstrate honesty, when you have people lying to you constantly on television, on the radio, in the movies, it's all a lie, and everybody just gets used to the lie as a way of life, then honesty as a concept is very outmoded and archaic, and nobody wants to be an honest guy anymore, because if you're honest, then you're going to finish last, you know. The good guy's finishing last. And this is bad. I just think that it's disgusting.
See, I would hate to believe that.
You can hate to believe it, but if you don't believe it, you're a fool. Maybe you could come up with a statistic balance that would show that maybe 51 or 52% of the people are honest and 48 are shady. But the few that really control things are not honest, and they count for more votes. I think the proof of that is the way the country operates. And I don't think that most of the people who head up businesses are honest, and we're letting them do it because we're not honest enough to face up to the fact that we are owned and operated by a bunch of really bad people. The tendency today is to just gloss over it, you know. The desire for escapist activities is really at quite a peak now. And media likes to accommodate that desire. And the more you can escape from how horrible things really are, the less it's going to bother you, and then the worse things get.
And of course, UFC will be performing at the White House. You can watch some fights live on the lawn of the White House. Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about honesty. Now, I understand what's going on here in California as a reaction to what's happening in Texas, but I'm still against the gerrymandering that's happening here. The redistricting that's going to be taking place, it was just announced this week from Governor Gavin Newsom. Only 36% of Californians support his new plans for redistricting. He has pledged to move forward with the plans of redistricting, and of course, this is to offset what is happening with the Texans, because in Texas they want to get 5 new congressional seats, and so here in California they say, you want 5 new seats, we're going to get 5 new seats that are going to be Democrat. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And when it comes to honesty, God knows that is thrown out the window. And we're seeing that right here in California as well. And I know some people listening might say, well, you have to do it. That's what they're doing in Texas. Run campaigns that people support. If you run candidates, I firmly believe it, maybe I'm naive. If you run candidates that have policies that the vast majority of people support, they will win. I mean, in a sense, this just shows that both the Democrats and the Texas Republicans, the Democrats here in California, it shows that they're insecure about their policies.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have to, gerrymander. They have to redistrict in ways that screw over the population. Gavin Newsom here in California says it's Liberation Day. He says we're going to fight fire with fire, but you fight fire with water. It's the dumbest quote that there is.
Yeah.
Fight fire with fire. Well, then what do you have?
We're all burnt.
You have more fucking houses burnt down. You have more of the economy going up in flames. You have more of our democracy in fucking rubble because these people have decided to fight fire with fire. So here in the state of California, the map is going to look absolutely insane, and it's going to benefit the Democrats in this case. I just feel like this is why the American people are so exhausted and fed up. And again, maybe some people, well, there are some people who look at Gavin Newsom and they say, that's good, fight the good fight. But I just don't, I take no joy in what they're doing here in California. And also, there's no guarantee it's going to work.
Right.
You're taking a chance, you're taking a risk. And in this risk, in order for it to come to fruition, you have to completely upend our democratic process, which is hanging on by a fucking thread to begin with. So, that's why we have another clip here. Let's play George Carlin. A lot of clips today on this Friday.
That's all right.
I'm feeling sweaty. My brow is sweaty. Is it hot in here?
It is a little hot.
I might be hot. I might be Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's play George Carlin. This is a great clip. This is George talking about how the elites, no matter Democrat, Republican, whatever, they're all owned by the same motherfuckers. And that's exactly what we're seeing play out in real time as well. And there are so many folks that would run as Republicans because they're in Texas, and I guarantee you, if those politicians lived in California, they would run as Democrats. And their policies would be basically the same, but their verbiage would be different. That's it. I was watching a clip of Bill Clinton talk about immigration, which I actually think we have. Actually, let's play this. Let's play Carlin, and then we'll play Bill Clinton talking about immigration, because it's so unbelievably similar to what Trump says. However, Bill Clinton didn't build the internment camps that Donald Trump did. However, you wonder if he, if he had the power, would he have done it? But let's play Carlin first.
There is no national conspiracy to buy elections and control America.
Don't need a formal conspiracy when interests converge. These people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're in the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information things. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right. You don't get the real important choice. There's no freedom of choice.
That's a great point.
And I used to say, that we're never going to have a civil war in this country. They say we're in a cold civil war now, which is basically a meme battle that's taking place online. I used to say that we would never have a civil war because, McDonald's, you can still get a burger for $1. People are still going to be fed. But to Carlin's point, RIP, now all of even the fast food, it's all owned by the same 2 corporations, 3 corporations. And now, obviously, as we've seen, with wages for employees going up, the thing that trickles down is the cost to the consumer and to the employee in some ways, because they're probably eating fast food when they're not working too. And all that trickles down is human fucking suffering, as again they continue to make bank. So let's play Bill Clinton talking about immigration. And this is how the Democrats thought for years and years and years. There's also a lot of clips of Hillary Clinton talking about immigration. And so really, Donald Trump, if you could remove him from the equation, if you just look at the rhetoric, if you see what he's doing, you get the feeling a lot of these people in the 90s would be very impressed with what's happening today.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Okay, so Bill Clinton is talking there about how immigrants, they're a drain on us. They're taking our tax. They're using a burden. They're using our tax dollars, and they're doing horrible things with our tax dollars, and they're costing us an arm and a leg. Lastly, I want to play this clip from Gavin Newsom talking about, and he's telling the truth here, but this is really the 2-prong disgusting nature of the American economy and the capitalistic state that we're currently in. Immigrants are also here because, first of all, they do pay taxes. Well, he'll mention that. But it's a form of very, very cheap borderline slave labor as well. We talk about how Americans don't want to do those jobs, and we say it as if it's just passé. But they don't want to do those jobs because they're treated, the people that do are treated so inhumanely that we think it's beneath us. But as far as the slave economy goes, That's exactly what it is. So you have the hard line on the right saying we want to deport them because they're a drain on society. So they're getting put in detention centers. And then you have folks on the left who are saying we want them because basically they're going to be used as cheap labor, which is something we need on our farms, our vineyards, and so on and so forth. So the person that's getting fucking screwed in both scenarios is the immigrant. Let's play Newsom here and we'll wrap it up for Friday.
Community, all these mixed status families, $8.5 billion of tax collection in California every year from undocs. $8.5 billion that we receive just at the state level of taxes. That was the last Pew estimate. So it's not insignificant. Backbone, I mean, it's half of our agriculture work. You care about farmers and ranchers? If that's what your number one go-to commitment, then you sure as hell should care about their workers. 41% of our construction workers, Texas and California, have the highest percentage of their construction workers
undocumented
that would fall into that category. How the hell do we rebuild Altadena and Palisades? We're going to need a peak next year. We estimate about 70,000 workers. Without that workforce, ain't going to happen. You're struggling here. You imagine a peak there. So I think there needs to be a pathway for those folks as we secure the border, and we own that issue.
Do you feel that they're taking American jobs?
Not in Tulare County. Not in Ventura County. I don't know many people that want a job out there in those packing facilities. I don't see many people look like me jumping at those jobs. I just don't.
Wow.
Maybe there's some exceptions. I haven't seen the evidence of that.
So, one of the things he said that I agree with, however, it's not happening, is the pathway to citizenship. But as soon as you have a pathway to citizenship, then their next generation has become citizens, then they don't want to do those jobs because Americans don't want to do those jobs.
Right.
So if you have a pathway, technically you're just getting rid of your future workforce. And that's not what you want to do. That's why we haven't seen it. That's why we're not seeing a pathway to citizenship.
Wow.
It's counterproductive. It's like the same way that we always have, we ask members of Congress to give themselves term limits. It's like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. So, if you're an immigrant in this country right now, and for a long time, you've been used, and it's not right. And in this country, it needs to, address these issues honestly, and we can have a thriving economy, and we can have a capitalist society without, I firmly believe, without all of the human suffering. It would just require a little retooling. And obviously now with automation and things of that nature, we'll see how that changes things. I definitely believe that more immigrants are being locked up now because that's a way to make money off of them, because they're no longer needed in the same way that they were needed before. With with technological advancement in farming, you're no longer, you don't necessarily maybe need 100 workers. Maybe you only need 50. Well, how are we going to profit off of those other 50? Well, we put them into camps. So again, groups like Geo Group can make their money and politicians can get their kickbacks. So it is a two-pronged problem, and that's why it's so aggravating, and that's why I love those clips that we played today from great thinkers. And the only way to address it and the only way to solve it is to see it, discuss it, and find a path forward that that both of the powers that be can look at and say, shit, we better change our ways because people are pissed off. I mean, there's a reason that there's a musical that's going to be based off of Luigi Mangione. People are pissed.
God.
And it's not going to get any less, people are not going to become any less upset.
No.
As we see on the streets. I mean, we're very lucky that ICE agents are only having sandwiches thrown at them.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad before it gets better, but it will get better. We have to imagine that. Anything, Kyle?
We got some comments.
Let's go to comments.
Chris is saying it took 20 plus years for his dad to get naturalized because it's thousands and thousands of dollars. It's not easy. That actually happened with my aunt Angelita. I love her to death. She finally got to be a citizen. She's from the Philippines. She was married to my uncle who's in the military. They met out there, came home, had kids, and she still didn't get her citizenship until I was well into high school. So it took a long, long time. And she'd been in the country before I was even born. So it is very difficult to do that.
Yep.
Let's see here. People are saying the lie detector test determines that was a lie about pretty much everything we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Who's the father?
Yeah.
You are not the father.
Not us. And his tourniquet is saying she thinks that the tickling scene was in the extended version of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's very possible. Okay. They were all in bed together.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
Just like the politicians.
Oh, good for them.
And then people are saying that Ted Bundy would be thriving right now under the utilizing ice.
Oh my God. Yep. He used to work at a suicide hotline, but if he wants to hear the screams of people who are depressed, what a gig. Oh my God, we didn't even play the clip. Okay, we got one more clip. Let's play the politicians who toured the detention center.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is important. What a Friday episode. Yeah, I feel I'm a little all over the place, but hey, we're getting it done.
Oh, you're good.
All right, let's play this clip. I feel like I'm making people super depressed before the weekend.
Nah, it's all right.
This is important, though. This is what is happening. This is a couple of lawmakers talking again, even a broken clock, but they did a tour of the alligator Alcatraz, and this is the condition that these people are in. Again, from the fields to the cages, someone's making money off them.
And their drinking water comes from the toilet. People are on the toilet, you can't drink water.
Today, lawmakers from Florida were allowed to tour Alligator Alcatraz. No phones or cameras were allowed inside, and they couldn't speak with any detainees.
What we saw, the conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling.
Saw in there is very simple. We saw humans being held in cages, 32 people per cage, 3 toilets in each cage for these 32 people.
But this idea that the worst of the worst is inside the facility is not true.
Yeah.
They are separating them based off of wristbands, based off of orange, yellow, and red. And individuals with small infractions are inside this facility. Civil traffic infractions, suspended license are in there. So the idea that the worst of the worst is in there is not true.
The state is working hand in glove with ICE.
ICE is giving them the directions from A to Z, where they put the beds, how everything is meant to be.
This place is a stunt, and they're abusing human beings here, and it's an outrage.
The work is not done here. We came here to do this, but we will be back. Thank you.
All right, drinking out of a toilet sounds like slave conditions to me. And of course, speaking of education and fallacies, PragerU. I believe it's Dennis Prager. I think his name was Dennis. I met him a couple of times at Fox, but he's going to be taught in schools. And there's a clip that's going viral now. They have a clip of Christopher Columbus being like, slavery's cool.
Oh my
Everybody does it. And it's like, yeah, everybody's wrong.
Yeah, fuck.
It ain't right. So anyway, keep on fighting the good fight. We'll be back next week. Thank you so much for supporting the show. The best way, I was responding to some DMs too. They're like, how do you stay positive? The best way, they want you mad. They want you to be so pissed you can't do anything. So you can do all of this stuff with joy. We can take these people on with joy because they want you pissed. Because when you're pissed, you're not thinking clearly. And that's how they win. And again, that's why it's like Donald Trump. You see all the artwork that's like anti-Trump and stuff. You're feeding the tulpa. I think he gets more energy from the negative than he does from the people that actually like him.
It's like Freddy Krueger.
It really is. The more you think about him, the more you believe in him, the more he haunts your fucking dreams and stabs you in the chest as you're sleeping or drowns you in your waterbed.
Yep.
Which, God, that doesn't sound fun. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Again, go to Patreon, patreon.com/diebud. Keep on supporting all the shows here. Love yourself, be yourself, hail yourself. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.